homecoming week, and that means a lot of people will be coming back and being part of this campus community. And they'll be making their way back here because of moments like this that kind of etch themselves in their brains, like memories and moments and times of worship, times of laughter, times of interaction with one another. And my guess is most of them know how to get back here. Most of them can find their way. Probably if I was talking to you and said, hey, could you take me to your home? Could you take me home? You could actually tell me what address you live at, where you live. You could tell me that, I'm guessing. And most of you would be able to, if you couldn't tell me that, then you could take me to your house, and you would probably take me to the right house. It would be awkward if you didn't. It would be awkward if you took me to like the wrong house, right? But you know where you live, I think. Most of you do. There's a story I heard about this man who's sitting in his living room in Florida, and he was in Tampa, Florida, and he's sitting there in his living room, and he's just chilling, he's just watching TV, and all of a sudden he looks up and he sees the door start to open of his house. And he's like, what is going on? And so the door opens, and this 6'4" guy randomly just walks into his living room, just out of nowhere. And the guy is nice. He's like, hey, what's up? And the guy sitting in the living room is like, what's up with you? Like, you just randomly walked in my house, This is not your house. You just walked. And he's like, oh my goodness, I must be in the wrong house. What's crazy about this story is that guy was Tom Brady. This was in 2020. He had just been traded to Tampa Bay, and he was going over to his coach, Byron Leftwich's house, and he got the wrong house. He went into some other guy's house instead, which you can imagine was a great story for this guy to tell. But the point is that most of you, man, when it comes to where you live, most of you know where you live, right? But I'm wondering if, spiritually speaking, some of you might be living in the wrong address. Like, just when it comes to the holistic nature of life, you guys may be in the wrong place. See, we've been exploring the 23rd Psalm this semester. And today, we are going to lean into, we're going to experience. We're going to do more than just read it. We're going to more than just hear about it. We are going to sing, and we're going to be part of the 23rd Psalm. You're going to just hear these words and sing them if you'd like. But we're going to talk about the fact that God as shepherd leads us. And as the psalmist, David, as he comes to the end of this song, he says that I will live in the house of God forever. I will live in the house of God forever. David had been living in the wrong address, in the wrong place. And he's saying, I just need God to be with me. I've made a mess of my life. I need to be in the right place with God. Jesus said in John chapter 14, verse 1, do not let your hearts be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me. My Father's house has many rooms. If it were not so, I would have told you. I'm going to prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, then I will come back and take you to be with me, so that you may also be where I am. You know the place where I am going. Thomas said to him, Lord, we don't know where you are going, so how can we know the way? And Jesus answered, I am the way and the truth and the life. No one comes to me, come to the Father, except through me. If you really know me, you know my Father as well. From now on, you do know him and you have seen him. See, both of these verses call us to make our home with God, to get out of that wrong house, wrong address that we've been living in. Some of you need to reconfirm today that you are living in the house of God forever. Now today, as we return to the shepherd and allow him to bring some peace into our lives. I was in the coffee shop before chapel, and I had just ran into one of my friends, student, said, hey, I need you to pray for me that I would have peace. And I'm like, okay, I'll do that. She goes, no, I mean, not like now. Pray for me now. And so I did. And that's what I pray for all of you. Let's just lean in to the Lord, who is our shepherd, who will lead us to where we need to be today. See, I know today that it's a crazy day in America, right? It's election day. People on both sides of the aisle have passion towards their point of view. I know there's divisiveness. I know that there's struggle in your own heart and in your own life. But in the midst of all of this, I just want to say to you, I'm going to make my house with God. I can have my opinion about politics and all of those things, and that's not a bad thing. It's good to be part of that process. But what I'm saying is, some of you need to return to the shepherd and the overseer of your faith. That's what 1 Peter calls us to, because we're human, right? And we go our own direction, and we get stuck in we get in our own way. And so today, I call you to return to the shepherd, because the shepherd will lead you into good places and good spaces. The way of the world will always leave you miserable. The stuff that you're trying to do on your own, and I don't know if you believe me or not, but I'm just telling you, the house of God is the house that you want to dwell in, because it was the house that was created for you, and you were created for it. So why would you want to dwell anywhere else but the house of God? Why would you want to go and do and be part of anything other than what God has created you for? So some of you need to return to that right now. As we sing these verses again, some of us need to just return to the shepherd and overseer of our faith. We're going to close our time together today in worship, okay? We're going to sing this song one more time, and we have another song, and we're going to let music play, and we're going to allow you space to think, to be. We want to allow you the opportunity to move. Maybe some of you need to move out of that wrong address that you're living in into the address that God had intended for you to live in the whole time. It's a decision that you make. It's something that you decide to do. And you can do that today. You can do that through a prayer, through a time of just connecting with God. These altars are going to be open. They're open now. People are praying. However we want to respond, there'll be a couple songs or a song after this and some music that plays. But we want you to lean into this idea that the Lord is a good shepherd, and he will lead and he will guide you into paths of rest. Even when we go through tragedy like we've gone through as a student body in the last week, God will be with us. And my prayer, like David, is that I will live in the house of God. Is that your prayer today? To live in the house of God forever. Let's close this service by responding to him in worship.